Shirley here with Sirius Dallas Moon, and the moon is on Aldebaran, close to Aldebaran, with the midheaven between Venus and Jupiter. Ascendant ruled by Venus, this is moon hour, and the Mercury 6 degrees Leo. So just because Mercury is not in a good spot for me, I'm not doing a talisman, but this is absolutely okay for a talisman of Jupiter, Sirius, and Venus. So I want to talk about something that, how should I say that? There are going to be a lot of strikes. There are going to be a lot of processes of colonization and decolonization. There are going to be a lot of processes in general. And from a very global point of view, I do want to talk about the topic of that the Muslim Brotherhood of Satan that also threatened our Dutch leader Geert Wilders continuously, forcing him into a prison for talking against child marriage and against abuse of women in Islam. And having a close encounter with the respected cultures. And this message from the Muslim Brotherhood of Satan, and I do not ascribe that to Palestinians per se, because we don't even get to see Palestinians. We get to see Masonic rites of Muslim orders. And what the message they always have to say that, together with the watermelon, is from the river to the sea, the same symbol of Palestine that we see in the Israelite Masonic Templar rites that turn one voice, Israel and Palestine, into V15, something that looks like an arrangement to assassinate Benjamin Netanyahu. That was 2015. It's 2025. He's still alive, and and saying that, hey, if they return the kidnapped people, as far as he's concerned, the war is over. Yes, and I did not vote for Bibi, to make it very clear. So the way that such a saying, which practically in praxis means completing the genocide, democide of Druze, of Bedouin, of Christians, of secular people, of Jews, also maybe of the people in Akhlaut probably will move to Iran or something and come back. They'll get away with that. And so Akhlaut is the neighborhood where they did ritual satanic abuse in children by Jewish Orthodoxy. This happens not only by Jewish Orthodoxy, it's an all-encompassing MK Ultra problem, but they hone in on the orthodoxies of many religions. And these type of declarations are basically doing one thing. They're saying, let's get the world to comply with completely ravishing the entire of the region, in that case Palestine, but it can be any. There are many Palestines, there are many Jerusalems, and just Google map Jerusalem, that would be enough. To think a little bit about the Druids, which I got from somebody that was working on research on earthquakes. You say, oh, what's the connection? There is one. And so that's why nobody was working on research on earthquakes. It was the forbidden science. And so what's happening is that from the river to the sea is one study case in a list of declarations that we're probably going to see, that give us discernment. And this is discernment when we're actually going in favor of decolonization or of human rights, which wins over the land, or we're going to serve another empire in a colonizing project that will not end up in human rights for the people within those regions. Now, for the people that speak up, like Bisan, like other people, notable people and journalists, and people that are journalists by the circumstances of them living in a place but having no place to stay and so on, then for these people, they just, they have to say from the river to the sea, so they say from the river to the sea so that they can get the other message across. But this is something that uses an ethno-tribal oppressive cult in order to basically justify the destruction that is going to deprive many people of their homes and going to end up in colony projects. And so just as I say, yes, Gaza is a very important example of what can happen to a 15-minute city anywhere in the world. I also say that from the river to the sea is a very important example of why they are not done with apartheid yet. Okay, where a woman cannot live alone, there will be disaster after disaster. It's as old as the Inuit. By the way, if anybody heard from Shaina Tova, this Inuit lady that broadcasts, she hasn't uploaded in 2 months. So you can write me in the comments because I see that we don't hear from her. And this is a bit concerning, okay? This content creator that made a lot of content from Inuit society. And when it comes to colonizing phrases and declarations under the guise of freedom and the great motherland, is the people that have criticism towards the Kahanists, okay, in Israel, that they show a map of Israel including Iran and Iraq, and the issue is not the territory as much as the regime. Would such a country be supportive of individual rights? Would such a country be a good place to live in? 100% no. And that's the same thing with From the River to the Sea. And this is just one study case of many study cases where the rights, the Templars, the secret societies, that it's not their fault, and now they're funded by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, but wealth families change. The structure is important, and the discernment is important, because at the end of the day, it's the individual human rights that make or break, okay, whether a person is disabled, whether a person is being brought to disability so that they will need humanitarian aid and so on and so forth. It is those things essentially, and each and every individual, regardless of their tribe, needs to have their own access to land, to water, to harvesting water from the air, to put in a solar panel there, to building their own house, to have access to travel. Okay, we talk about a global village. That's what it means, regardless of bloodline, blood cults, blood feuds. And this is that's what gets us into the situation where time is measured in blood. And we, the people, each and every individual, won't come out of that, because in every tribe there's the people that are secluded from the tribe. Can a woman live before 1948? Could a woman live freely in Palestine? Single woman. Could she choose when she wants to make a children, when not? That's what Geert Wilders is talking about now. People say, oh yeah, Geert Wilders is clone, is this, is that. Fantastic, correct. Correct. 4 times a year, those fucking rituals, he can't talk about that. Correct. What is Baphomet? Okay? When the common European, you don't have to go to Europe. If I go to Beersheba in the evening and I see packs of people, packs of men, whether they're Bedouin, Palestinian, I don't know, packs of men sitting at the cafe, no women, doesn't feel so comfortable to walk there. And they can be fantastic men, they can be amazing men. I see packs of men, no women. That's fucking scary. That's all you need for when a person say, okay, for all these things that nobody feels comfortable to talk about, and they talk about, and then they get the votes. But there are many things that matter in a government, in a country. There are many things. There is the housing. There is medicine that's actually medicine. There is infrastructure. There is taxation that allows us to make a life while making a living. It will not deprive us of when we are in need, or where we do need to go to hospital, or where we do need public housing because we can't work. There's the working sector that has to be working sector, not CIA informant sector. Very easy now. If the indigenous tribes keep doing the same old of these packs of men sitting there where a woman is not able to walk free, and the only time she can talk about her rights is if there is a colonizer, and they say, oh, the colonizers are murdering women, then that stuff's just gonna continue to happen, and the only form of liberation that people will see is another form of ritual human sacrifice and declarations like from the river to the sea, or the Kahanist, the whole Israel country to the Prat and Hidekel to Iran and Iraq. Will me, a single woman, be able to travel to bike, have that, what can I say, could I cycle on a bicycle from Beersheba city to the Prat and Hidekel? Because if I can, I do support that. But if I can't, what good does it give me? I won't be able to enjoy the land. I don't need to grow crops on the land. I can grow a food forest. I can dig up half moons, a couple of years, grows a food forest, and I can travel everywhere and pick up some fruits. You make sure, like, if there's enough fruit on the tree after I pick in the fruits or the veggies, then there's enough for more people, and then I can go on with my way. Now, if there is oil, okay, nuts and seeds, I don't have to, even if I would need to eat meat once in a while, I don't need to eat that much meat. The solutions are there. Water dropping from everywhere. You want to change the climate, grow a forest. You don't have to plant trees. You dig the half moons. The Sahara, they dug the half moons, the rain began to come. Either we can get that, or we're not going to grow the discernment, and then we're not going to go to discernment. The Templars keep ruining everything, and then we're going to blame the Templars. The Templars are the residues of the indigenous practices united. That's all that it is. It's when the indigenous practices, all the horrid things and the good things about indigenous practices worldwide united into people that practice all 3 religions and the hoodoo and voodoo and whatnot. Satanic ritual abuse, same. It's the rituals themselves are derived from those indigenous practices that make people susceptible to mind control. It's as old as Sedna. So I had to add that because I mentioned Bizan, and then she talks about from the river to the sea, and then people were like, is Shirley supporting that? No, I don't. and it's not about hasbara. It's about a principle where I care to live a good life. It's not going to be there with a place that deprives the rights of the individuals to be able to have a good life by themselves, so that they can connect on a way that on a basis that actually respects their sovereignty.